Hello, welcome to Papa Nick's Music. I am, as always, your host, Papa Nick Lewis, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I know, I say that a lot, but today really is something a little bit different. Normally here at Papa Nick's Music, we talk about music. If we're not talking about music, we're talking about comedy. Today we're talking about something that makes me angry. I want to be right up front. This is not a political rant. This is not a political issue. It's being used as a political issue, but it is not one. I have a friend. I'm going to call him Pete. Pete is not his real name. I'm giving him an assumed name here, in part because I have not cleared this discussion with Pete. I haven't asked him if it's okay if I use him as an example here. And I don't want to focus any more attention on him than has already been focused. I'm also calling him Pete because Pete is an example of what we're talking about today, but it is not limited to Pete. This is not specific to Pete. It's just Pete is the one that has brought it to my attention most recently. Pete and I are friends. We've known each other for, going on 20 years now. We used to work together in the same national retail-based educational services company. And while we worked in different offices in different states, we worked in comparable positions. So we frequently interacted, via email and stuff like that. But we also were in groups together every time we had regional meetings, national meetings, conferences, stuff like that. And so I ended up spending quite a bit of time with Pete. And he was part of a circle of friends that I had. We all had similar issues because of the nature of the jobs that we had, and we all had similar issues regarding our level of respect for what is considered professional and what isn't. We all had senses of humor, so we all hung around together and entertained one another. And Pete was part of that crowd. And I got to know Pete, and I liked him. I count him as a friend. I don't count him as a particularly close friend. I don't know him that well, but I do know him, and I do consider him to be a friend. I haven't seen him in probably 15 years, maybe the last time I saw him. But we stay in touch, via social media and stuff like this. I've learned more about him through that social media. It turns out he's a very good woodworker. Who knew? But the main thing you need to know about Pete is that he's a nice guy. He's an all-around nice guy. He's a fun guy to sit and chat with. He's a nice guy, and I really like Pete. Early last week, Pete posted something on social media. And I'm going to go ahead and read it, but I'm also going to put it up on the screen so you can see it. Looking for your opinions. Florida has sent a bill to Governor DeSantis for his signature that makes it illegal for me to use the men's room in public buildings, including airports. I'm traveling to Florida this summer, so if you were me, would you A, break the law and hope nobody questions you or challenges you? B, follow the law and use the women's room, which will immediately cause a ruckus and likely involve police being called anyway? Here's the thing about Pete. If you saw Pete going into a women's room, a women's restroom, you would be concerned. Pete's a man. He was not born a man, but he is. In any way that matters, in any way that is important, he is a man. And when I read this, my first reaction was just a deep sadness. Pete is not the only transgendered person that I know. But he is one of few. And when I see people that I know who are facing this level of discrimination, it cuts pretty deeply. But that first reaction did not last very long. It was not long at all before that deep sadness turned into just white-hot rage. Legislation like this, these cockamamie bathroom bills that so many fucking morons are passing in state legislatures. There is no purpose to legislation like this other than to take Pete and people like Pete and put them into a no-win situation. Put them into a situation where if it all goes according to plan, they'll just stay at home and we could ignore that they exist. They are whipping boys and scapegoats. When I started this, I said this is not a political rant, because this is not a political rant. This is not a political issue. This is a human rights issue. This is an issue of basic fucking dignity. Pete and the many people like Pete are being used as pawns by people who have discovered that the easiest way to get power, the easiest way to build that power, and the easiest way to keep that power is to find somebody who is marginalizable and marginalize them. They are reaching for the stars by standing on the backs of other people. And it just... Oh. And now we're getting to the point. This is the reason why we're talking about this today. It's the reason why I didn't ask Pete if I could use his name. This isn't about Pete. This is about me. This is about people like me. I don't have much of an audience here. Last count, I've got, I think, about 80 subscribers. It might be, the number might be descending as we speak. I don't have much of an audience here. But what little audience I do have, I have to talk to. This is my problem. I am a white, straight, cisgendered man of a certain age. Okay? This is an issue not because of Pete. This is an issue because of people who look and act and speak like me. And so it is incumbent upon people who look and act and speak like me to speak out against this kind of nonsense, this kind of dehumanizing bullshit. I don't have much of an audience here. But what audience I do have to talk to. Here at Papa Nick's Music, we stand for equality and dignity. We stand for autonomy and respect. I hope that you're on board with this. But I will be honest, I will not miss you if you aren't. This is not political. Thanks for watching. Next week, we'll be back on track with our regular discussion. We've got our Beatles Top 40. It's lined up. It's ready to go. And I hope to see you then.